and sisters of my heart. My name is Publio. I'm going to play and sing a couple of songs to help me, to help you, to help us to harmonize ourselves, to prepare for the Spiritism talk tonight. So the first song called Vibration, and goes like this. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Now, song to Mother Zephyrina. Source of love that radiates, warm power, cold nights, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flowing down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in her door. The solution lies in her door. Oh, my Mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings, make your small son a good Christian. Make your small son a good Christian. Source of love that radiates, warm in a power, cold nights, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flowing down the mountain. of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. Oh, my mother's offering a harvest of wonderful blessings. Make your small son a good Christian. Make your small son a good Christian.
Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, mate, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build a bridge over troubled waters, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrows, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, babe, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build a bridge over troubled water, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more sorrow, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Let the sun on the way shine, shine. Let the sun of the way shine, 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 shine.
sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Forget about your problems, enjoy living your life. Open up your heart for love to come inside. Jesus by your side, and with Him close to you, you'll be glad and never become blue. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Bright sun will shine. Let Jesus' love warm you up. Live happy your life and never think of giving up. Jesus by your side. This way is much easier to go. You'll be glad and never become blue.
And now I'm gonna sing a song, Good Old Man. It's about our protector, our mentor, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes. Blue crystal eyes, color of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on there, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, color of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our praise and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the good, receive our praise and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Spirit Talk. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place to stay during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. Our meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook and also every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. New class will be starting the fall. Reach out for more information through our social media or our Tuesday talk and stay tuned. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. By posting the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. And you are welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibrations for incarnate and discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. The topic of today's meeting will be the spirit word or the word of spirits, part 2 of the chapter 1. It's going to be the continuation that our sister Anna Alabama is going to bring for us. 2 weeks ago, she started this chapter. It's this part 2 from the chapter 1 from the Spirits book. So she's going to continue it today. So everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and they will be addressed at the end of the talk. And then now we are gonna invite our tonight's speaker, who will also do our opening prayer.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
Good, good. Always happy to be here. And
Very happy to have you here. Okay.
all right, so I'll do the initial prayer and discuss what we have to discuss today, and I'll see you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Welcome. Like Marceli said, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And would you join us or join me in this initial prayer? So let's close our eyes. Think of our Master Jesus. Thank God for our lives. Thank God for all that we already know, the good choices we can already make. Let's thank God too for the good choices that we are not able to do yet, to make yet, but those we already are aware of those. And let's ask God for His mercy, for His love and His justice, for the things that we are not even aware. They represent bad choices for us and keep us away from God and from fulfilling the plan of perfection, the plan of plenitude, of evolution that He has for us, this plan of happiness. Let's ask Jesus to bless our homes, our places of work. May all of us here, either live or on demand, may we all feel comforted in God's love and in the consoling message of Spiritism. And so be it. All right. So, like Marceli said, we're going to continue today with let me find my here we go with my slides. So we'll continue today with I think my slides are correct now. So we are going to continue with the Spirits book today. So last week we had the gospel according to Spiritism, and most of the Tuesdays that's what we cover. But today we're continuing with the Spirits book, and we are already covered the whole part one. So we are in part two, but right in the beginning, chapter one, that talks about the spirits. So in this chapter one that talks about the spirits, we talked about what are spirits, right? We talked a little bit about pair spirit. We also talk about the different orders and classes of spirits, and we talk about the spirit hierarchy. Today, to finish this chapter, we'll talk about the progression of the spirits and about angels and demons. So, before we start, I wanted to do a little review, but we're going to do in a little way by taking a quiz about the beginning, the things that we talked about the last time. So, I encourage everybody to either, listen to the recording if you were studying this book with us, or to read, right, the whole chapter, so that you can, learn and study and take your own conclusions too. But because this part that we just talked about, it's actually the basis for tonight, I didn't want to not review this. And then if you have not seen the previous talk, then you will miss a little bit. So we'll have a quiz. I hope everybody's ready. So I'll try to also read the the options here, because I know some people might be just listening. But if you are watching the video, then you can actually follow here too. So one of the things we talked about, it was the definition of spirits. So what are spirits? And in each one of those questions, you have 4 options. So letter A is option A, something that scares us in movies. Option B, intelligent beings of creation. Option C, beings that live in the material world. Option D, it's too late in the day for a quiz. So what is the correct answer? So, if you are, if you want to put some of the things in the comments, your answers, then, feel free to. So spirits are intelligent beings of creation, right? Another thing that we talked about was about the creation of spirits. Is the creation of spirits continuous? So that's my question to you. So do you think the correct answer is A, no, of course not. B, that is a hard question. C, yes, God is always creating. Or D, let me check last week's recording before I can answer this. So what do you think? So is the creation of spirits continuous? Yes, right? God is always creating. We also talked about spirits, a little bit more. And one of the things that we talked about, it was if spirits occupy a specific region of space. So if that is a question for you, do spirits occupy a specific region of space? Option A, yes. Option B, I have no idea. Option C, I really wish I had paid more attention last time. Or option D, no, they are everywhere. So what is the answer? A, B, C, or D? And here is D. Spirits are everywhere, right? They populate infinite spaces, in infinite numbers. All right. What form do spirits resemble? So we talked about, if Kardec asks if we had to have an image in our head of what the spirit resembles, what that would be. So what would you choose? Would you choose A, that spirits resemble a lean and tall human? B, they resemble your favorite animal? C, they resemble a flame, a glow, or ethereal spark. Or D, I have never seen a spirit. So if you don't have that type of of mediumship, then you cannot answer this question, or you would choose D. So what is the correct answer here? And it is a flame, a glow, or an ethereal spark. That's what the spirits told Kardec, that the resemblance of a spirit, if we had to keep an image, that would be. We also talk about perispirit. So my question to you, what is perispirit? A, the spirit's semi-material envelope. B, I wish I knew it. C, something without importance. Or D, the spirit's material envelope. So who remembers? And remember, we talked about, um, the analogy to like a pen, right? Where the spirit will be the ink, the perispirit will be that pliable plastic that covers the ink, and then the physical body would be the harder plastic that actually covers, the ink and the little tube where the ink is. So the answer here, it's A, that the perispirit is the spirit's semi-material envelope. So where does the perispirit come from? Let's see if we remember. So what is the correct answer here for where does the perispirit come from? A, from the North Pole, like Santa. B, from our imagination. C, that's a great question, where? Or D, from each globe's own universal fluid, meaning that the perispirit of people incarnated in on Earth would come from Earth's universal fluid. And that's the correct answer. It's D. So how many orders and classes of spirits are there? Option A, there are 10 orders and 3 classes. Option B, there are 3 orders and 10 classes. Option C, 5 orders and 5 classes. Or option D, I just know I am a pure spirit of the first order. And what would you choose as the correct answer? A, B, C, or D? It is B, right? We have 3 orders and 10 classes. So congratulations, the quiz is over. So I hope you had fun trying these. Sometimes quizzes are not, pleasant, but they are, we already know that that's a great way to learn is by being tested, right? And we'll talk about trials today, and that's what we do in our evolution too, believe it or not, right? We go to school as our profession and everything, but one of the characteristics of Earth, this planet we are here, is that it is a hospital, but it's also a school, right? So we are always learning here too, and we'll talk about that. But just so that we remember, there are 3 orders of the spirits according to their degree of self purification. So remember too, all of these classifications and the orders is something like more pedagogical so that we can understand, but this is like a continuum, right? We have the 3rd order of imperfect spirits, and here we are, right? We discussed last time that we are in this category, going all the way to the 1st order of spirits, the pure spirits, and then we have the 2nd order in the middle, right? In terms of classes, the 3rd order has 5 classifications. So we have impure, frivolous, pseudo-learned, neutral, because remember, we also said that our moral standing, it's not just depending on the bad that we do, but on the good that we don't do it, right? So if we don't do bad things, but we also don't do good things, then that is not a good spirit either, right? Or elevated, or a more or first order spirit. It is a third order. And we also have boisterous and disturbing spirits in that third order. In terms of classes in the second order, we have four. So those are the benevolent, the learned, the wise, and high order spirits. And in the first order, we only have one class, which is pure spirits. So the last time we talked about water spirits, some characteristics, we talked about pure spirit, and we ended with the orders and classes of spirits. Today, we are going to talk more. How do we go from one order to the other, right? How do we actually, um, uh, how is our path? What are the characteristics of a spirit that God just created versus a spirit that has a lot of more experiences? So that's what we're going to talk about today, about the progression of the spirits. And these are questions 114 to 127 of the Spirit's book. Um, I wanted to call our attention because remember, we are studying Spiritism for what? Just for us to learn things, just because we want to learn things. That is good, but I think we are all here so that we can apply what we learn to our lives, um, and actually, have a life that is better, right? Have less suffering in the bad connotation of the word, so that we'll still suffer, but we'll suffer well, like the gospel says. That we can make others suffer less too, right? Because we will learn how to love more. So in thinking, why we are learning those things, it's always important to think, how can I apply this to my day-to-day life so that I can be a better version of myself? So last week, Marceli was talking about the chapter, Blessed are the poor in spirit, in the Gospel according to Spiritism. That is chapter 7. And remember, she was talking a lot about pride and humility, right? How pride, it's one of the roots of a lot of different vices, right? And humility can also be the root of a lot of virtues, right, that we have. So today we're going to understand a little bit how, so we know that humility is the goal, but how can I choose from incarnations and incarnations? How can I, how does that work? How is this progress from being less proud to more humble? How does that work, right? How does that path work? So that's what we're going to talk about, this progression of the spirit. So usually the gospel invites us to um to be the best version of ourselves, right? Jesus is always inviting us to be forgiven, to be charitable, right? To be servant to others, right? To help others. Because that is the goal, right? But once we start as a spirit, we didn't start like that. But how did we start? Right? This is the goal. So in between, how can be our path? A straight line, a zigzag line, a line that looks like we're going 1 meter, but we're going up and then down and around, and then we don't seem to, you know, move at all in one place, and then we go a little bit ahead, and that it takes a longer time to reach our destination. So it's a good number of questions, and some of them, I think, they reinforce some of the points that previous questions had. So I think it's important for us to go over, all of them in this section, but I'll try to summarize or to just go to the point of some of these and let you read, more with more time in your own time so that you can absorb all the details more. So In question 114, Kardec asks, are spirits good or bad by nature? Or are the same spirits made better by the force of their own efforts? That is such a great question, right? So, are we from the beginning, right? So, God creates us from there. Does He create some spirits that are good, some that are bad? Or the same spirits, they are made better by the force of their own efforts, and the spirits respond that the same spirits are made better through their own efforts, right? So we are all the same once we are created. It's not that some of us are already made good or bad. It's through our own efforts, through our own choices, that we can, improve, right? So they rise from a lower to a higher order as they improve. So are some spirits created good and others bad? So you see, the questions are a little bit more similar, but the way that Kardec asked and the answers from the spirits is giving us more and more information. So here's one of the tenets, right, of Spiritism, um, because the answer from the spirits is that God created all spirits simple and unaware, meaning lacking all knowledge. So some translations we say simple and ignorant, but not ignorant in the way of the word that says that you are violent or that you mean or bad or evil, but that you lack knowledge, right? Ignorant in a way that you don't know, right? So, God created all spirits simple and unaware, right? God has given them each a particular mission to enlighten them and help them gradually reach perfection through the knowledge of the truth and rise closer to God, right? The more that we perfect ourselves, that we develop morally, closer we are of God, because we follow God's laws by our own choice, right? And the Spirit says here, in that imperfection, they will find in that perfection, they will find eternal bliss without any troubles, right? So why we keep talking spiritisms that we're going to evolve, right? So it's not like a Pokemon, right, that we're going to evolve. It's really because we are going to be more wise. We'll know the truth. We will be able to love more. We're going to be more pure and more noble, therefore happier, and therefore closer, to God. So that is what perfection means. Is it's like we will have reached our spiritual potential. um they complete here saying that spirits acquire knowledge by experience the trials inflicted by God. So that is the thing. How do you know, how do you know that you remember the things that I talked about last time? Well, I put you to the test, right? If you didn't have the test, how do you know for sure? So a trial is really that. So we have trials in our lives. They are tests given by God so that we know if we pass the trial, right? If we can overcome that trial in a good way, then we pass that. We don't need to work. Maybe if I can overcome the trial of being patient, of forgiveness, right, that is done. I have maybe many other virtues that I have to work on, but that one will be done. But how do I know that I'm a patient person? Only if that patience is tested and I pass those trials or those tests. So the spirits keep saying, and I think in this one is really important because it's one question, but it has so much the message of spiritism here. While some accept these trials with resignation and arrive at their destiny more quickly, others are defiant and remain far from perfection and happiness promised to them through no fault other than their own. So in Spiritism, I cannot blame, God for creating me lazy or bitter. No, right? God created me simple and unaware, right? Then through my choices, when facing the tests or the trials of life, that's what I became. I chose to be an bitter person, unforgiving, and impatient, right? That's what I chose to become. That is from my free will, right? But that is not my destination, right? If I had accepted those trials with more resignation, right, then I would have passed those tests and acquire those virtues and be on the next stage, kind of working on my next virtual until I become that total version, the pure version of myself, the most noble version of myself that God, when He created me, that's what He had in mind, actually, right? So again, God create all spirits simple and unaware, right? So anything that we do facing the trials and the tests that we have, that the choices we make, that's what is gonna decide how fast this process of um, becoming a better version of myself it's gonna be. But I cannot blame anybody. I cannot blame my husband, I cannot blame my parents, I cannot blame God, I cannot blame the devil, I cannot blame anybody but myself, right? I have that power, because it is my free will. So, in some of these questions, there is a new complement. So, for this 115a, Kardec says, according to this statement, spirits are like children when they are born, unaware and without experience. However, gradually they acquire the knowledge that they lack, but experience the different phases of human life. And the Spirit says, yeah, that's a fair comparison. Rebellious children remain ignorant and imperfect. How much they benefit depends on their obedience. A person's life has an end, while that of spirits extends beyond infinity. So we're going to be in this set of questions coming back to this idea, this imagery of children, right? The spirits being immature as children's and then developing, but the spirits make this distinction that a spirit's life, right, we have many births, and maybe a child, right, life, it has some time. But so it's not a perfect um example or comparison. That's why they just say it's a fair comparison in this way, that we can think that children who remain um very naughty, and they don't want to obey, they don't want to stop and listen, they will not learn, right? So we need to be able, again, with those trials of life, we need to be able to accept those and make good choices with them. So then Kardec asks, do any spirits remain in the lower ranks forever? Right? So that is a good question. And in some of these questions, you're going to already see some of the difference between the Spiritism and other Christian religions, right? And other Christian doctrines, because we are not saying some people are born good and some people are born bad. It's your choices, right? We also saying that no one remains in the lower ranks forever, right? So the Spirit said, no, they all eventually become perfect. So that is one of the most consoling things of Spiritism, I think. When I started in Spiritism, when you hear that you will be one day, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying in 1,000 years, I don't know how long, but you will invariably be as perfect as Jesus is, right? You will be a pure spirit. That's the law. Is the law of progression. That is the plan of God for you. It doesn't matter how many times if you want to resist that, or if you want not go with the program or with the plan that God has, but you will not remain in the lower ranks forever, because the law is of progression. So everybody will progress, right? We can kind of fight it a little bit, but we cannot impede progress, right? So our free will is for our choices and things that we do, but we cannot. The plan of God is much bigger than my only choice, right? And His laws are the laws who reign the whole universe. So it's much bigger. I can fight it a little bit, but if that is the will of God, that everything progresses, that everybody does, I will eventually, right? Um, just accept that and be part of that, right? So they say they change over the course of time, no matter how long the progress may take, right? So they say a just and merciful father cannot condemn his children to eternal banishment, right? It would be really, really hard. And Kardec talks a lot about this in the in his other book, Heaven and Hell, right? About this idea that we have of hell, for Christians, that is worse than any other culture, right? And it's really, really bad, because it's like you go there and you never come back, right? So there is in Spiritism, there's not eternal bliss without any merit. So it's not I'm right here and then I'm gonna go straight to heaven if I don't have that merit. But also nobody goes and stays in hell forever, right? So that is really important, right? So God is just. He is, but he's merciful and loving. So his justice, it's ingrained, or it is wrapped up, it's filled with love and with mercy. So that's why no one is set, aside or left behind. So there's really nothing we can do that can take us away from God's love, right? And from this path of evolution. And how nice and consoling is that, right? It's so empowering. It doesn't matter what you did so far, it matters, ahead. There's always a chance, and God is just there waiting. He's the he reigns over time, so he's not in a hurry. That is his plan. He's sure of that you will become a better person. He's just waiting for you to make your own choices, so that when you reach there, it's not because God did it, you did it, it's your merit, right? So here, Kardec asks, are the spirits themselves responsible for accelerating their progress to perfection? And the spirit says, of course. They reach their goal more or less quickly, depending on the force of their desire and the degree to their submission to God's will, right? So it's all in our hands, right? It's all, we are responsible for everything. If we are not doing so well with the what we have, or the opportunities we have, we still have a chance. And if we master these virtues, if we pass those trials, that is our merit, right? We did the work, but then we have the reward, right? It's our merit that we got to that stage. And we all know that there is much more effort in doing the good than right doing the bad. Making good choices, it takes a lot of energies, it takes a lot of thinking, right? If we don't think, or if we just go, randomly, then sometimes it's easier to make bad choices. And Kardec asks too, can the spirits regress, right? Because that is one thing. What is the idea of the devil, right? It's that it was an angel, that so it was a pure spirit, and then it had gone all this path, and then it became really bad, right? Is that possible, right? After so much work, how can this spirit, revert like that? So it doesn't make sense. So Kardec asks, can these spirits regress, right? So if we make all this effort and we're gaining this moral virtues, can we just, relapse and regress? And the spirit says no. The spirits learn what has impeded their progress as they advance, right? They may remain stationary, but they never regress. So that is the thing. The lesson that we learn from that trial, we never forget it. Do we have other lessons to learn? Yes. But that one, has been tested and has been assured, okay, you passed this one. We will never forget. It's almost like I heard this phrase too, and it was so impactful for me one time, that when a person learns to read, it cannot not know how to read anymore, right? Have you tried after, when you were a child and you didn't know how to read? Remember how it was like, first it was very hard, and then you start deciphering this. But once you learn how to read, that's it. You can't, unless it's something tragic, I mean a trauma or injury to your brain or something like that. But if not, you cannot just look at words, you just reading, right? You can even try now looking at these slides. There's no way you can't read if you learn how to read, right? So that's the thing. You learned. You may remain stationary, but you will never regress. So that's another important tenet of spiritism too. So, could God exempt spirits from the trials that they must still undergo in order to reach the highest rank? And I have to be honest, when I was reading this question, I was like, how many times did I pray for God to, oh God, please take this away from me, right? Make this go away. That's how we pray. That God takes the trials away. So, studying spiritism, we start to learn more that now I'm not going to pray for God to take away the trial, but God send me the resources, or help me, give me the strength, give me the mental clarity, give me the wisdom, right, to go through this trial, right, and to overcome it, right? If that's really at the stage I am. And if not, that I have the courage to keep trying to better myself, so that when the next trial comes, I'll be ready, right? That I don't give up and stay stationary. So the Spirit says, if they had been created perfect, they would not have merited the enjoyment of such perfection, right? So, once we are asking God to take the trials that we need to undergo in order to develop ourselves spiritually, then we are asking God also to take away the merits that we might enjoy if we pass those trials, right? And we know that God is just. He's not going to give us, he's not going to waste his time or our time. So if there is a trial, it's because it's not going to come a trial like, let's say you don't test a 5-year old with a 15-year-old exam, right? You test age appropriate, grade appropriate, and that's how the trials come from God too. So um, that's the thing. It's not so easy to understand this. It's so much easier to ask God just to take the problems away, but then we wouldn't have the learning that comes with the trial, and we would not have the merit of enjoying passing that step, taking another step, right, in this ladder of evolution. So Kardec also asked, do all spirits travel the road of evil to arrive at good? So um, Kardec is going back again. Remember, what do you think the answer for this is? Because the spirits told Kardec here that we are created not good, not bad, but simple and ignorant, right? And simple and with no knowledge. And then we're making choices. But then Kardec is asking, do we all have to go through evil to arrive at good? And the spirit says the road traveled is more like the one of unawareness than rather than evilness. So that is a good example too. It's We shouldn't be seeing people as good or bad, right? It's people, and everybody can make good choices and bad choices. Even if you can think of the person that you think is the most evil person that you can think of, that person is able to make good choices and to make bad choices. If you think about somebody that you consider like a very good person, right? Maybe somebody in your family, maybe your mom, or whomever that person is. I mean, if you're being honest, that person is very good, but could they make bad choices? Probably they could, right? So we shouldn't be seeing people as good or bad, but should be seeing people as people who make good choices and bad choices. So here, the spirits are saying that the road of evil is not really a road of evil to arrive at good, but is a road of unawareness. So when we are not aware of the consequences of the choices we're making, we're not considering things well, we're not doing good choices, that's when we are more in what we usually call being evil. But that's not really something. And remember, it's because God did not created us simple, gave us tests, and then we accept the tests, we keep going. We don't accept the tests, then now, because we have trials and expiations. So now, if I do something that I need to repair, then I still need a trial to see if I'm better. But now I need an expiation too to repair, right, what I did, the wrong I did to others, right, or to myself. And then, but if I don't have any more expiations, I repaid everything, I still need some trials, right, to see how good I'm going. So that's why we're going to see in this evolution, right, in the beginning, we have a lot of trials, then we have trials and expiations. If we have less expiations, we'll have some trials, and then we get to pure spirits. We pass all the trials, we don't have anything else to expiate. That is the characteristic of a pure spirit, right? So um, Kardec asks, so how it is that some spirits have traveled the road of the righteousness and others the road of evil, right? And that some have gone a straight path, like, Jesus has, really been making good choices for millennia and millennia, right? So those are, the highest spirits. But why some, you know, uh travel these roads? And the spirits are saying, well, don't they have free will, right? God has not created bad spirits. They all were created simple and unaware, possessing an equal aptitude for good choices and bad choices. Those who become bad, they did so in their own volition, right? It was their own choice, right? It was due to their free will. Uh, because of free will, they could make a choice. They made the wrong one, and that's why they are considered, right, evil. Also, Kardec asked, how can spirits possess freedom of choice between good and bad at the orange when they have not yet acquired self awareness? Is there any principle leading them to either one road over the other? Right? And the spirit says that free will is developed as the spirits acquire consciousness, right? Freedom would not exist for them if they made choices by any means other than the use of their will, right? So we are really free, right? Free will, freedom we have to choose, right? But we choose, and then we just have to face the consequences of those choices. But those choices are made by ourselves. That's why it's our responsibility. The same way that good, um, choices bring us the merit, right, for that. So nobody um, can be blamed by the good, the bad, and the ugly there is in me, but myself, right? Because this is a result of my choices. And here, that's why another concept too. So in spiritism, there's no original sin, right? We were created simple and unaware. So there's no original sin that we were already born with a sin, with a bad choice, or something that blemish. We are not created as spirits with this blemish in our souls already for something that we didn't do. So everything, right, related to my situation right now, it was my choice, right? And he says that some spirits yield to temptation while others resist it successfully. And that's where the difference is. From where do the influences that act upon them originated? And the spirit says from imperfect spirits. So remember, we have all these types of spirits, and we are all influence each other. And remember that that's another important thing of spiritism, is this awareness of the spiritual world and this interconnection between the material world and the spiritual world, right? We are influence each other all the time, right? We are receiving the good or the bad influences, right, of the good spirits or bad spirits, right? So that's what the spirit says, that, this influence to act in a bad way, they come from imperfect spirits. And sometimes even metaphorically we blame, right, Satan, right? We have to be careful with this in spiritism, so because we don't have the devil or Satan, sometimes we don't blame Satan, but we blame the obsessor, right? But we can be transferring blame, right? The obsessor is influencing me because I have something in me morally that connects me with the spirit, and the choices I'm making, it's making me listen to this spirit other than, for example, my guardian angel that is trying to influence me to do the good, right? So don't even change devil to obsessor because it still doesn't work, right? So Kardec continues asking a little bit more in this question 122. There's even a letter B that says, does this influence only act upon a spirit at its inception? So Kardec is asking, okay, so we have all these trials, all these influences, all these things. We are not on a vacuum, right? We evolve through our experiences with other incarnates, with other discarnates. So we have this influence, that it's going to help us make good choices or bad choices, or this will be the environment that we'll be in, and that's the information that we will have to be able to make a good choice or a bad choice, right? Then they Kardec asks, so does this influence only happens when the spirit is created upon a spirit at its inception? And then the spirit says, no, it follows the spirit through all the phases of existence until it has acquired such absolute self-control that vile spirits abandon the attempt to tempt him or her, right? So will be tempted until, there's no even place anymore for a temptation, because we do not, there's no chance that we'll fall into temptation, right? We are so strong in that regard that it's not going to work. So then the spirits will not try to do that anymore. So Kardec asks, why has God enabled the possibility of spirits taking the wrong road, right? And this was a very genuine question from Kardec. I think many of us already ask, wouldn't it be better? No free will, right? Oh God, just tell me what to do. Just put, good boundaries around myself. Don't let me do this or that. And then I'll make the right choice, right? So the spirits in the beginning get a little annoyed, I think, with Kardec and ask how he dares to actually kind of challenge God's wisdom, right? So he says, you should be saying that the wisdom of God is shown in the free will that God grants to every spirit, for each has the merit of his or her actions, right? So it for us, because we're not perfect yet, that might think, oh, okay, what is the probability? Oh, well, we can choose well, but we can also choose bad. So let's just, put more, take this freedom, take this free will, and maybe that will help everybody. Yeah, it would probably, maybe some would evolve a little bit better, but would it be a true um, betterment? Or it will be just superficial because you did those choices because others were choosing for you to, so it's not really your merit. If you accomplish anything, it's not your merit alone. So the free will that God gave us, it's a beautiful gift. It can be really dangerous if we don't use it well, but it's so empowering because at the end, if we choose well, if we learn with our mistakes, if we keep working on ourselves, the merit of this transformation, it's ours, right? And ours alone. So Kardec also asks, since they are spirits who unwaveringly travel the path of righteousness right from the beginning, and others who swerve onto the wrong path, isn't it likely that there are many degrees of deviation between those two extremes? So, at one extreme, you have some that take forever because they keep making the wrong choices, and some where this evolution, right? This path to evolution is shorter because they keep making the right choices. So, in between, is there something or many degrees between these two extremes? And the spirit says, of course, these degrees constitutes the path of most spirits. So, the spirits are saying the majority of you are not, in these two extremes. Most are in the middle in different degrees, right? And then Kardec asks, will spirits who have chosen the wrong road be able to reach the same degree of elevation as others? And the answer is yes, right? It might take longer. It will take longer if you keep choosing, making bad choices along the way, more bad choices than good choices. But yes, remember that is the consolation, right? They Everybody will reach the same destination. Some will go faster, some will go slower, but invariably, right, without a doubt, everybody's gonna be at the finishing line. And Kardec also asked, are spirits who have reached the supreme degree after wandering down the wrong road less worthy than others in God's eyes? So Kardec is so intelligent, right? He asked you all of this, like, how is the path? Is it a straight line? It's, do we regress? No, we just keep moving forward. We may be stationary, but then he's saying, okay, so not everybody goes in a straight line and goes as fast as possible in this process, but does God makes any difference in the eyes of God? Somebody who goes on a straight line makes all the good choices, and somebody who struggles makes one good choice, three bad choices, one good choices, and three bad choices. Is this person, you know uh, does God look at these people with eyes they're less, thinking that they are less worthy than others? And the Spirit says God views the drifters who have returned to the right path with the same approval and loves them regardless of their past, right? So they even complete that they have been classified as bad spirits. So because they yield to bad temptations before their fall, they were merely simple spirits. So God sees us how he creates us, not good or bad, but simple and unaware. And he sees us right at the end in our full potential. What happens in between does not distract God from this idea. So he doesn't see really the bad that we do, the bad choices in the middle. He knows how he creates us, and he sees the potential. So when he looks at me, he's not looking at me right now. He thinks, oh, I created Anna so beautifully, right? With full of love. She was simple and ignorant, and she will be this pure spirit one day, right? If she's right now being a little rebellious, if she has, descended like maybe 5 flights of stairs in this path of illumination, she could have been, 3 5 steps ahead, but she's not. That doesn't make any sense to God. It doesn't distract of the beginning and the potential at all. These are things that we get busy with. We get busy not looking at others as God create them and as God see their full potential. We really get tangled in and really attached to in between. We do that to ourselves, when we do not accept who we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, we, instead of trying to make it better, we resort to, being feeling guilty and, demotivated and things like that. But isn't that beautiful? It's like God knows that before anything, that bad choices that I made, I was merely a simple spirit. And God knows that in spite of every bad choices that I made, every time that yield to bad temptations, my destination is being a pure spirit, a noble spirit, a happy spirit, a perfect spirit, right? So the in between, God does not, So I really hope that we can see others more like God sees us, and we can see ourselves like God sees us too. So, are all spirits created equal in terms of intellectual capacity? And the spirit says yes, right? The spirits who follow the right path from the beginning do not attain perfection right away. Even right before, despite being free of iniquity, they have to acquire the experience and the wide ranking knowledge necessary for their perfection. That's why, it's a long path, so we shouldn't hurry up, right, or be anxious about getting there. But we also should not sit and wait, right? We need to be working on it too. So, we are all created equal, but we need the experiences, the tests, the trials, so that we can actually acquire not only the moral, but also the intellectual properties that we need to evolve. So that was a lot, but I think this chapter, and this part, it's really something that we might, look from time to time and remind as we are doing our self reflection, right? Our inner reflection. And as we evaluate ourselves to become a better version of ourselves, we need to remember those things, because sometimes we really get distracted by things that God does not even pay attention to, right? So, if we're studying Spiritism to apply in our lives, I thought that this chapter had a lot of things. So, and I talk a lot, you guys know that, but don't worry, I don't give the talk every week. So just keep coming. Somebody else would do a better job next time. But then just maybe 2 slides more about angels and demons. I actually really encourage you to read about angels and demons, but Kardec really says that angels are pure spirits. The demons, we could think about them as evil spirits, and that sometimes angels, we say good angels, bad angels, right? And when we talk about that, we're actually, angels means spirits, right? So that's pretty much what it is. So it's not really an angel that was created totally good and a demon that God created a spirit that is bad. No, right? It's a pure spirit that already made good choices and learned morally, enriched in themselves intellectually and morally. So they're angels or pure spirits. And others, they're still learning or they're still making bad choices. They're just some behind, and right now they're considered evil or spirits who are making bad decisions, but that's not their destination according to the tenets of Spiritism, right? So this was part 2, chapter 1. Remember, sometimes we put here the links in the YouTube of the books so that you can read for yourself. Remember, there is Kardecpedia too. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Yana, for your presentation. Yeah, it is a big topic, right? But it's so important for us, like to listen and to reflect about that and to get to know, right, about these things. So we have posted the link for the Spirits book.
Okay.
The chat. So if anyone like just wants to download. And we also posted for the Gospel According to Spiritism. So we do
Last week, yes.
both on the in the chat.
Mhm.
So I would like to thank you because of the time. We
Sure.
cannot do the questions today, but thank you so much for your participation and reflections, my
No
friend.
problem. Thank you.
Okay, you have a good night. So now we will um, we will move to the preparation for the tonight's spiritual treatment. PAS is the transfusion of the spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. PAS help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with health and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes if you wish to help with mentalization. And during the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that you and your family can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to close our eyes and elevate our thoughts, thinking God, and let's thank you, Jesus, for the opportunity to be here to listen our sister Anna for all knowledge and the teachings that she brought to us. May all of us can reflect about that. May we can try to become a better person every single day. Maybe we can choose the right path to do in our lives. So thank you, Jesus, for everything you have done for us. We ask you to protect us, our family, friends, all the names whose are in the vibration list, and may we can be blessed by you, and may you still you be with us, Jesus, today and always. So be it.
Let's get ready for the pass and water fluidification. Please get a container with clean water to be fluidified. Brothers and sisters, it does not matter where you are, what type of hardships you are going through. Jesus is always ready to come and help us. Place yourself in a comfortable position which can make it easy for you to reach concentration and receptiveness. Breathe slowly and easily. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Fill up your lungs with air and let it out very slowly. Let tranquility and peace energies penetrate your lungs and move throughout your body. Your soul in harmony with your body feels easy and in peace. Let's imagine Jesus' passage. A clear day, the sun's golden rays illuminate the happy passage in Capernaum. A lot of white houses, multicolored vines, and hopping birds fill the landscape with optimism. The news about cures attracted the crowd in need. Suddenly, Jesus appears slim and handsome. His tunic was hanging down to his feet. At sunset, all those with sick people hit by several illnesses would bring them, and as he placed his hands over each one, he would heal them. This is what Luke the evangelist says. Let's imagine Jesus approaching you. He holds his friendly hands over our head. Notice that from his generous hands, a waterfall with clear and pure water originated from his love come to bathe you. It flows on your head, goes down your shoulders, bathe all your being, and brings you peace, serenity, and balance. They remove all impurities and pacify you. Feel the water bathing you, cleaning. Breathe. Now, imagine Jesus as a sun before you. His light, his warmth surrounds you. Feel the healing energy that comes from Jesus towards you. He hears your prayers. Trust him. His love is endless and it follows you and protects you. It provides you with everything you need. Have faith. Absorb the healing energy from Jesus. His light surrounds you. Feel the energy going through all your body. Feel stronger and in peace. Lord Jesus, our divine friend, reach out your generous hands, Lord, and change this water into medicine for our physical and spiritual illnesses. Protect us, Jesus, with your peace. Spread those vibrations of love throughout my home, Lord. May peace, health, and tranquility reign here. We are very grateful to you, Jesus. Stay with us today and forever. Thank God. Please remember to use the fluidified water.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Concatras Americas at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. And please don't forget to follow us, Spiritism Canada, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and the spiritual group Path of Light on Facebook as well. Have a good night.
Come on, my friend, come to the light. Here with all our heart and soul, let's follow Jesus Christ. Let us preach the peace, let us preach the love. And this world already wonderful will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth where the flowers bloom with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world.